Welcome to the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers that cover the NFL daily. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here's your host, Aaron Summers.
The Saints have wrapped up practices for their game against the Panthers this Sunday, 3:25 on Fox. The team will have a walkthrough Saturday for final prep, and then it's another home game at the Dome. Head coach Kellen Moore said running back Alvin Kamara and tackle Austin Richards will be out Sunday. Safety Justin Reed is questionable, while right tackle Talia Seifuaga, running back Devin Neal, and defensive end Chris Rumpf are all available after being limited in practices earlier this week. This is the second game against the Panthers this season. The Saints getting the win on November 9th at Carolina. In that game, Tyler Shuck threw for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns, while the defense held the Panthers to just 73 yards on the ground. Carolina currently ranks 10th in the league in rushing yards, averaging 125 and a half a game. In talking to Cam Jordan this week, he said they'll need another big performance from the interior defensive line to shut down the Panthers' run game a second time. While the Saints are out of postseason contention, Carolina is a half game ahead of the Bucs for the NFC South lead after the Bucs lost to the Falcons on Thursday night. So there's a lot on the line for the Panthers coming in, and the Saints can do with that what they want. The Saints, having taken down the Bucs last week, could stack some wins here and go streaking to end the season. For today's podcast, we're bringing in ESPN analyst Louis Riddick for his perspective on the Saints and quarterback Tyler Shuck. Louis, I appreciate you jumping back on the New Orleans Saints podcast. Had you back after the draft to talk Tyler Shuck, and it's fitting to do it again. How are you?
Great. I mean, this is great. This is great for me, great for you guys down there at Saints, great for that fan base. I mean, things could not have turned out better, it seems, huh?
Yeah, you said great for you. It must be nice to say, I told you so, right?
You know what? Sometimes, well, this is the thing that happens in this business a lot, as you know. People kind of sit on their hands waiting for you to be wrong about stuff. And that's when voices get the loudest, is when you're wrong. And then when you're right, the conventional thought process is always, well, don't brag, don't mention, you don't need to do that. So that's funny because people sure do like to chirp a lot when you're wrong. But look, this really isn't right or wrong. I'm just happy for Tyler. I really am. When you go on the road and you scout these players and you call their games in college and you get to talk to them in that kind of setting and talk to the coaches and talk to the PR people at Louisville, and Jeff Brom's a good friend of mine, a former teammate of mine at Louisville, and Brian Brom and all those guys who were there at that organization. And they give you the insight on this young man. And then you talk to him and you go, damn, like this guy has a lot. And then you watch him and you're just like, you get attached to certain people and you really want to pull for them. And then when you see them go through the process and you see their stock elevate and you understand that there's some really smart people who know a hell of a lot more about quarterbacks than me, who go, that guy is talented. As a matter of fact, there's one person who's coaching right now in the NFL who through my context thought that he was the most talented thrower in the draft, period. That he would be the best one ultimately. A very, very, very well-respected current head coach. So I know we have a long way to go with this. Okay. And he has a lot still to prove. He hasn't done anything. And he knows that too. But it's just nice to see like the things that really matter. His mental horsepower, his physical talent, his perseverance. You see the veterans really rallying around him.
Yeah.
It's like to see that, it's nice to see that come to the forefront instead of, oh, well, he's older. Oh, we had a 7-year career. Oh, he got hurt at Texas Tech and Oregon. Oh, he's injured. Oh, what the hell are we doing? Like, because that's what, that's what the whole story was before the draft. And it's just, we talked about that on TV just yesterday. Like with quarterbacks, the story gets hijacked so many times about these guys that have nothing to do with how they play.
Right.
To do with people's preconceived notions about a person. And either like when it comes to quarterbacks, you're either Patrick Mahomes or you suck. That's how people look at it. And if you don't come out, guns ablaze right away, then you suck. Let's move on to the next guy. Let's reset the clock. It's just like, man, that really irks me. That's why I've been so loud about this. And why when you hear about guys like Sam Darnold and those guys in Baker Mayfield who've had these late career surges, It's like, see, everybody's different.
Yeah.
That's all.
It was funny yesterday. Kellen Moore was asked about Philip Rivers returning to the league, and Kellen, under his breath, but quickly said, "Yeah, and he's 44, so I think Tyler's going to be okay." So he combated that. Tyler, yes, 26 years old, but you have people at 40 who are still playing and doing
Yeah.
a good job. So just because Tyler's clock started a little bit later getting into the NFL doesn't really mean anything. And I think honestly, it bridges the gap a little bit better between the older players. He can relate to the maturity factor, and then he
Hmm.
can still relate to the others because he is a rookie.
Okay, so yeah, so let's just say Tyler was going to play till he was 14, until he was 40. Like he got 14 more years left of his career.
Yeah.
Like who wouldn't want a 14-year veteran? Who wouldn't want to have drafted a guy in the second round and get 14 years of high-level quarterback play? Like most organizations are happy if they can get two contracts out of a guy, which, maybe is 8 years, 7 to 8 years. Like the age, see again, these are some of these stereotypical negative arguments that are made against players that are just lazy, low-hanging fruit. Like as soon as a player hits 30, it's like all of a sudden when the clock strikes 12, that guy just starts to wrinkle, his body starts to
His
atrophy, and all of a sudden,
knees
like, you know what I
go. Yeah.
mean? Like the minute the clock strikes midnight and he turns 30 years old, it's like, can we stop doing that? And can we like take the conversation a little bit more in depth and really dive into the nuance and what really matters here?
Hmm.
Tyler had, you remember, the throw at the combine,
Hmm.
where he was trying to show that I can throw the ball from different arm angles, and I'm going to show you how talented I am by actually trying to throw a no-look pass in a combine workout. And I knew he was going to do that. And he missed it pretty bad. So he didn't do it anymore. People took that one throw and they were like, "This is your guy. This is what you drafted." And I'm like, one, you don't know what he was doing. Two, it was one throw.
Yeah.
Three, he was like messing around, trying to be cute, so he stopped doing it. But that thing went viral, and it still follows him. It still does. His injury history at Tech or at Oregon. Do people understand why he got hurt? How he got hurt?
Hmm.
Like it's not something where he's like Glass Joe and like he just has brittle joints and bones and stuff. I mean, he used to run the football a ton
Right.
in college, a ton. That's funny. Just the other day against Tampa Bay, I bet you Saints fans were going, "Damn, can he run? We need to
Hmm.
do that a little bit more." Okay, well, it comes with the cost now. It may, just ask Jaden Daniels, ask any running quarter, like ask what happens when you do that too much. I'm sure they're not going to do that too much with him. But see, it's just, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on about this,
Sure.
but he just, God, I love the fact that Kellen Moore has really kind of taken hold of this young man's career. And what's even better is seeing guys like Cam Jordan and the rest of the group. Look, I saw Honey Badger tweet about him just the other day, Tyrann
Hmm.
Mathieu, saying that I think this is the guy.
Yeah. I mean, Demario Davis said he
And
has an
DeMar,
it
yeah, that's it.
factor.
I couldn't remember. I was sitting
Yeah.
there drawing a blank, and DeMario is one of my favorite freaking people. Yeah, when DeMario says that,
Hmm.
pretty much everyone else can sit down. Okay, so
Yeah.
just all right. I really don't need to hear what else the rest of you have to say. DeMario Davis spoke. So yeah, that's cool. That's so cool.
You brought up his ability to run and scramble, and
Mhm.
he addressed that
Mhm.
yesterday, saying that yes, earlier in my career, I would have tried to truck Antoine Winfield,
Mhm.
but I decided probably not in the best interest of my career, my future, and I've seen what's happened. But so he is adjusting his game as
Mhm.
he's going. It seems like he's gotten better from where he was at, even in training camp.
Yeah.
How have you seen him progress from what you saw in college and areas that have stood out to you this season?
All right. So there used to be one knock on him, which I used to see pop up from time to time, which was when he was really pressured, you would see his calmness in the pocket start to disappear, and you would see his feet get real jittery,
Hmm.
and you would see him really like starting to like get antsy. Which, look, I think basically as a human being, if you felt 6'5", 280 guys closing in on you, you would probably start getting a little antsy too. But look, the greats can continue to stay calm in that environment and
Hmm.
find what they need to go with the football and still make good decisions. So that was something like when he got to the pros, I was wondering if that would be something that would carry over and be, one of those things that you would knock him for, or would he work his way through that? Because again, remember he was playing in a system even a year ago that he'd only played in 1 year. So
Hmm.
he was a transfer, right? So there's there's obviously that getting comfortable with the system, which naturally will make you play calmer and all. So as time has progressed now here in this system, Tyler looks very calm.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy who right now, even the whole pre-snap operation, from the time he's breaking the huddle to how he's directing traffic, calling for motions, changing protections, surveying what the defense is giving him, post-snap, surveying what the defense is giving him, really on balance as far as his feet. Rush closes in around him. It's not, let me just get the hell out of here, or my body language really starts to look panicked. He looks calm. He looks decisive.
Mm.
The ball, now, when he's just able to throw the football, I mean, it's out, it's different arm angles, it's I can throw it with touch, I can throw. So I think it's more just that sense of calmness that he's showing right now. That he just never looks rushed. He never looks panicked. He never looks stressed. And that's rare. That's rare for a guy, for a young player. And he really has stayed the core. And I think, you know what, though? I think that probably speaks to his level of maturity also.
Hmm.
Being 25, 26 year olds helps him. Being married, having kind of like an adult life already probably helps him. These are all great things. Whereas again, during the pre-draft process, these were all looked at as negatives, which is just
Yeah.
bizarre, right? So it's funny for me to see all the backtracking that's happening now. Like, oh, you know what? I always thought he had some talent. Like, no, you didn't. These things are all working for him now, and I think that's the number one thing, the calmness. Because when he's like that, obviously everything around, all the other 10 players on the field with him on offense are like that. And now even like again, the alpha leaders on this team are going, look at that.
Hmm.
That's what we're talking about. And so Mike Tannenbaum, who works with us at ESPN, loves to use the phrase for quarterbacks of, is the guy a force multiplier? Meaning, does he just kind of make everyone else better? We talk about that all the time. Can you make your teammates better? Tyler looks like he's making his team better, and in tangible and in intangible ways, and that is just so damn cool.
Yeah. How does his play right now help where the Saints are at in their rebuild timeline?
Yeah, well, I think right away, like teams like this, teams like Cleveland, when you haven't drafted a guy who, according to the mainstream media and or football circles, if you've drafted a guy who people don't believe he is like the obvious long-term answer because he wasn't a top 10 or 15 pick, you notice that the conversation always turns to, well, this is a quarterback rich draft here in 2026. There'll be a lot of guys who are considered top 10, top 15 talents. They can always just start over and reset the clock and, get one of these guys. I think with Tyler now, you're sitting there, you're going, okay, maybe we already have got our guy. And now we can really just start to build out the rest of this team around and make sure that he's protected, make sure the wide receiver core is the way we want. Do we have enough firepower in the backfield to help him out? Yeah, I think that's a great spot to be in on a guy on a rookie contract who was a second round pick. Although I believe Tyler had certain provisions in his contract as far as guaranteed money that really, the Saints took care of him
Hmm.
in a way that made you think, I think all along they were hoping he was the guy. They weren't looking towards, hey, well, in 2026 we'll take another crack at it. I don't think they were ever thinking that,
Yeah.
which is great. I mean, so their evaluation and their belief in him is kind of being rewarded right now because I think they're going to be set up in a real good spot to really build out the rest of this team. And that's what everyone wants, right? Everyone
Mhm.
wants a quarterback on a rookie contract. If he's a second rounder, even better. And but yeah, as I said to him and as I put on social media, still a long way to go for him. But I think you've seen enough to where I think you're sitting there going, I think we're set up.
You've seen other teams, even in the division, with like the Panthers and Bryce Young. It took him a few years. He's in year
Yeah.
three now, and
Yep.
they seem like they're on the upward swing of their rebuild.
Hmm.
Second year quarterback in Drake May, and where he has the Patriots, it doesn't happen right away.
Right.
And
Every-
I think that's key right now for the fan base. Yes, it's been tough several years here, but
Hmm. Hmm.
Tyler is a bright spot. There are a lot of other young players around him
Hmm.
that we've had in this past draft and in years prior that a terrible place to be right now for the organization.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think, look, to address the first part of what you were saying, um, I think fans overall need to be very mindful of the fact that playing quarterback is the single hardest thing to do in professional sports when you're combining the mental and emotional requirements with the physical requirements. And
Mhm.
if you think it's not, then just go to an NFL practice one time and stand behind the quarterback in an 11 on 11 drill and see what he's seeing. And you tell me if you think it's just automatically click overnight, like for every like it has for some guys who are like, the creme de la creme of the history of the game. But those are very, very few. There's very few of those guys. And hell, Tyler's so young into his rookie year right now. Who knows what's going to happen, 4 weeks from now? We may be at the end of week 18 going, this guy's one of the best, could be one of the best in the league. He literally could be. Talent wise, I mean, what is it that he can't do? So, yeah, I think it's a time to be real excited about him. It's a time to also kind of like try and keep a lid on the excitement and not get too far ahead because a lot of the things that are going to really play a part in his development, he has no control over. What does this scouting department and Mickey do as far as getting the pieces around him? What does Kellen do to continue to bring him along? What's the continuity like on the coaching staff, as his career goes? I mean, there's a lot of different things. Tyler has to stay on the straight and narrow, I mean, which I have no doubt that he will. But yeah, I think you could not be happier with where he is at. And I think you also need to keep that in mind when you're talking about other players and their development, the situations that they are involved in, how much that plays a role in their development, in their learning curve, and how it's not the same for everyone. There is no cookie cutter way. And Bryce Young's one of the perfect examples. Right? I mean, there was a time where people thought, damn, they couldn't be more different between him and CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
He's going to bust out of the league, and CJ is going to be a perennial All-Pro. Then what happens to CJ in his second year? His offensive line isn't nearly as good. The offensive system, they wind up scrapping that system and firing an offensive coordinator. It's like, see, there's always more things involved than just the players either being great or they stink. And again, New Orleans has found something here that, and I know how passionate that fan base is down there. I played down there multiple times when I was in the old NFC West when I was with the Falcons. And I think some of my great, great moments in broadcasting have been being down on the field, like during Monday Night Countdown, and like the introductions there for the Saints when Drew was there, and he'd come running. I mean, that place used to go bonkers. I think those days are on the cusp of returning. And how cool is that?
Yeah, I feel like I got chills right there. That would be nice.
I mean, you know how they would play U2's song, "The Saints Are Coming"? They would play
Mhm.
that song that U2 would like made in, I forget who they did that with. It was like a collaboration song, and they would always play that during the introductions.
Yeah.
And like when he would come out, like you couldn't even hear the PA announcer because the
Mhm.
crowd was so loud. He was trying to say, and from Purdue, number 9. You couldn't hear that part because
Mhm.
people were going crazy, and then they crank up the music, and they'd have that smoke and stuff going. Well, I remember standing on the field watching that, and I'm telling you, like you just get this emotional rush, like you're just like, this is why we freaking love the NFL and why we love football and why we love sports. It would be really cool to see them introducing Tyler Shuck at some point in time and people doing that. Like for me, I have no skin in the game. Like other than the fact that I like evaluating players and I like seeing young dudes fulfill their dreams.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I'm kind of getting way off of maybe of all the things that we're talking about here, but I think Saints fans need to hear that because excuse my language here, but Tyler took a lot of shit from people that was very undeserved. During this like, there were people saying some very, very like vile, nasty things about this kid. It's just like you don't even know. Like, just calm down and let him play. And now he's gonna have the last laugh. I couldn't be happier for it. I mean, I feel like sometimes it's like I get teased by people at ESPN, like, damn, like, dude, is he like, do you want to adopt him or something? Like, what's the I love it though. I love everything about it.
Yeah, it's tough when you see talent, you see somebody that you believe in, and
Hmm.
everybody is just, like you said, taking that low-hanging fruit, throwing
Hmm.
shade.
Hmm.
And he said his advice to anybody in the draft would be don't listen to what anybody says
There you go.
because he didn't, and he's proven a lot of people wrong, and you right.
Well, yeah, I had some I had some unique insight.
Yeah.
See, that's the great thing about calling college games for me is as much as I love doing money, I love doing my time, in the booth with Steve Levy and Brian Greasy when did Monday Night Football on a regular basis, and then doing it now with Chris Fowler and Orlovsky. My heart and my passion really is college football because of the bands and the pageantry and all that.
Mhm.
And you go into these places and you get to talk to the coaches and see the players. And I have some great connections to where I'm really able to get really good information about guys. And then that helps me for the draft and stuff. I knew Tyler Shuck was made of the right stuff.
Yeah.
I knew it. And Jeff Brom, Louisville better try and hold on to him. He's destined for greatness too. If I was an NFL team, I'd be trying to pry him out of Louisville so fast. They don't know that you just don't even know how good of a coach he is. And he said it. He's like, Lewis, Tyler Shuck has it. He has. And I only get him for 1 year.
Mm.
Can you imagine him in this system in another year? He'd be up for Heisman contention if we had the right stuff around him. So yeah, Saints fans, you know, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since they had a quarterback, who Drew held it down for years. I played against Bobby Abear when he was there, and Bobby was teammates with me in Atlanta. I mean, yeah, it's cool. Like I have such great memories in the Superdome playing against the Saints and then doing games down there. It's a great freaking sports town.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you guys. I am.
Well, I appreciate the support, even if it is just for Tyler and the fan base, and you're not necessarily cheering for us. I do.
You know what? Honestly, I do because of how much I like him, and I really like Kellen's approach.
Mhm.
I really do. And Brandon Staley is a good friend of mine too. And so, look, you got some guys on the defensive side who I also got to see, like Quincy Riley, like Jonas Sanker, who I talked to Brandon about them before the draft. And I said, you've got dudes, because Quincy was at Louisville too.
Mhm.
And he's a freak athlete. And Sanker was a great player at Virginia. And he's done nothing but make plays down there. So yeah, see those connections. I've been around a little bit longer than I care to admit, I think. But I've been able to form a lot of connections and relationships with people. And I have someone that, obviously with guys on that staff. And I've talked to Kellen different times when he was in Dallas as the OC and we did Monday night down there. And he gave us great information about Dak. And Kellen's just a high level dude himself. So yeah, I do have a lot of love for the Saints. I do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Of
spending
course.
the time talking to us
Yeah.
and sharing the knowledge, how you're feeling about things down here, because
Yeah.
it is nice to be feeling some positivity coming off a win over the Bucks or
Hmm.
going into a game against the Panthers, a team that we did beat earlier this year.
Right. That's right. Well, good luck to the organization. I really am happy for them. You got some great players. You got a quality coaching staff. I'll be watching for sure. And I'll
Well,
be tweeting my rear end off about everything Tyler does. You can believe that.
yes, absolutely.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yep.
it.
No problem.
Appreciate Lewis joining us. Always so positive about Shuck, and I love it. And definitely appreciate his sentiments about the Saints and where they stand right now as well. Don't forget to tune in to the pregame show 2:25 with that 3:25 start Sunday. It'll be live across our social media platforms and NewOrleansSaints.com. And then, of course, the postgame show will be all of those same places right after the game ends. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully, you'll see you out at the Dome. And let's go Saints. Let's get another win. Start stacking these up because, Jets, Titans, Falcons, we really could go 5-0 to end the year.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets.